Hi, this is Ms. Cave with a lesson on sales tax, tips, and discount. And the SOL for this that you can put on your paper is Virginia SOL 7.3. We're solving practical problems with proportions. So we've been working on similar figures and also how to calculate the percent of a number with double number lines and also with a proportion. So today we're going to learn how to apply that to a real life problems, because everybody has to pay tax, everybody should pay tips, and we all like to get discounts. So today we're going to learn how to apply our knowledge of percentages to figure this out. So the percent proportion is just like we've been working on in class. So we're going to use the same proportion. So we have part over whole is equal to percent over 100. So we're going to use the same proportion. Now in class today we also talked about how we can estimate percentages without using proportions. So you can use that strategy as well. If you can estimate, like we looked at how we can estimate 10% of a number. So 10% of, so if we had 10% of $20, 10%, we would just take 20 and divide it by 10. And your answer would be $2. So we talked about mental estimation or mental percents, doing mental math today. But now we're going to look at what we do to get the exact amounts. So we've got three different things we're going to talk about. We have sales tax, tips, and discounts. So sales tax is an additional amount of money that is charged for goods. And goods is just things that you buy. They're called goods. You might have learned about that in your history classes. Goods. Or you also pay tax on services. So often you're charged a tax when you go to get something done on your car. They're going to charge tax, as well as charge me for fixing my car. So if I go to get my oil changed and I have a coupon that says $19.95, I'm actually going to pay more than that because they're going to charge me tax on that service. Goods would be like products I buy. Like if I go to the store and buy a pair of jeans and the jeans cost $25, I'm going to pay more than that because I'm charged for goods. Now sales tax, interestingly enough, is not charged in all states. Some states don't charge sales tax. They tax you in other areas because every state needs to collect taxes. But in Virginia, we do pay tax. Does anybody know any states where you don't pay sales tax? Jacob? Delaware. Pennsylvania. Where is it? El Salvador? Your country? Okay, yeah. So these are different places. I went to college in, briefly for a semester in Pennsylvania. I went to York College of Pennsylvania. And when I went shopping, I didn't have to pay tax. It was pretty cool. Even when I went to buy groceries. I actually worked at a grocery store there, and I didn't have to charge tax, so I didn't have to calculate it or take it from the customer. Now a tip, just like sales tax, it's also added. So tip is an amount of money that's added to a bill for services. So when you're tipping someone, you're tipping them for their service. They're providing either whether I talked about today, like Maddie being a server, she's a waitress, so you tip her to pay for her services. Or if you go to get your hair done, or if you get your nails done, things like that. Like I just went and had my nails done, and my bill was $50 because I had to get the chrome polish because I really like the chrome. It's extra $15. So it's $50, and then I had to pay a tip on top of that. So I tipped him 20%. So what would be 20% of $50? So I tipped my nail guy 20% of the $50 that was the price. So what would that be? How much money did I give him? I gave him $10 as a tip, and I added that, so I paid him a total of how much money? 60. So I paid $60. I know it's a lot. It's a lot. Hey, I'm worth it. I worked hard. I work hard. Still working. Okay. So now the one that's different from these other two is our discount. Because sales tax and tip, you're going to add on. And then discounts, that's a good thing, you're going to take off. So you get to subtract your discount from something. Now, unfortunately, I did not have a discount. I wish I would get a coupon for my nails place and be able to save some money, but I didn't. So discount is the amount by which the regular price of an item is reduced. Reduced means we take something away. We take off. It goes down. The price is going to go down. So to find the sales tax, tip, or discount, you do the same thing. You find a percent of a number. So to find the tax, tip, and discount, you're going to use your percent proportion. You're going to have you're going to use the percent proportion. So it's going to be the amount of the discount, tax, tip, or discount, that's the amount, over the total, and then that's equal to the percent over 100. So you calculate it just like you do the other problems we've been working on for percentages. Now, it's important that we understand some of these other words. So a subtotal, if you notice the word sub comes before total. It's not the final total. The subtotal is the total before you add on any tax or tip. It's before you take off any discounts. So a bill for goods or services that is given before. So this is what you're going to receive. You're going to look at that subtotal, and that's what you're going to tax, tip, or discount on. So to find the total of the purchase after a tax or tip is added, you're going to take your total bill is equal to tax or tip, and then plus your subtotal. So your total is the tax or tip, and you add that to your subtotal. Now, the best thing to do to really understand this is just to do some examples. So the first problem, you and a friend went to dinner at Ruth Chris's Steakhouse. Has anybody ever been to a Ruth Chris Steakhouse? It's very expensive. I've been one time I was in Miami, but I think they have one in this area in Northern Virginia. It's very good, like for special occasions. Most people don't eat there all the time. It's extremely expensive, but very good food. So you and a friend went to dinner at Ruth Chris's Steakhouse. The subtotal came to $105.29. That would probably be low for this place. I think it would probably be a little more than that. If you decide to tip 20%, how much do you pay as a tip? And what would your total be? So the first thing we're going to figure out is the tip. So the tip, I know, is 20%. So circle 20%. So to calculate the tip, I'm going to take my total and put it down here because that's the whole, okay? This is my whole. I'm going to mark W for whole. I don't know what part it is yet, how much of that I'm going to tip, but I do know the percent, and the percent always goes over 100. Okay, so that's how I'll write my proportion. And notice that there are two parts to this question. It's how much do you have to pay as a tip, and then it asks what would your total bill be. So now to solve this, the best strategy for this would be I could either look at the relationship between 20 and 100 and divide by 5, or I could use my cross products because I have a calculator that I could use on this. And if I multiply $105.29 times 20, what do I get? Who's got it? $105.29 times 20. $2,105.8. Okay, so then I'm going to divide both sides by 100. And then it's going to be $21, and it's going to be 0.058, so I'm going to round it to $21.06. Because when you divide that by 100, you get 21.05, So I'm going to round to the nearest penny. There's an 8, so that's going to round up to a 6. So that's my tip. So that's the first question here. It says, how much would you have to pay as a tip? That's the answer for the tip. But it's also asking, the next question is, what would the total be? So to find my total, I'm going to get my subtotal. My subtotal is $105.29, and I'm going to add my tip to the subtotal, which is $21.06. And if I add those two together, my total for my bill and the tip together would be $126.35. So to review, it's a tip problem. So I first calculate the tip, and then to get the total bill. So in other words, I can't just go in and say, okay, the tip's $21.06 and just leave $21.06. You're not just giving them a tip, you're giving them a tip and you have to pay for your food. You can't just choose, oh, I think I'm just going to give them a tip. Because then they'll come after you in the parking lot. Maybe with handcuffs. Okay. You got to pay for your food. Well, the restaurant needs their part. That's the amount for the food. And then you also need to take care of your waiter or waitress. And then interestingly enough, when you tip your, just keep this in mind too, when you guys tip your waiter or waitress at a restaurant, you also have to keep in mind that they also tip other people. Like they might have people that clean up the tables. You know, the people that come around and clean up at the end. Those people get tips too. And the waiter and waitresses actually tip, Maddie calls it tip them out. So she gives them money at the end of her shift. And if anybody orders drinks from the bartenders also get tips based on what the tip the waitress gets. So it's customary. So not only are you tipping that amount to the waitress, but that amount the waitress is then giving to other people in the restaurant. So he or she is not just getting the amount, she's sharing it with other people. They need to do that because it wouldn't be fair if they just kept it for themselves. All right, let's look at the next problem. So now we're shopping at Best Buy, and we bought a new iPod. Nobody buys iPods anymore, but why not? I don't even know if they sell them anymore. This is an old worksheet. So you went shopping at Best Buy, and you bought a new iPod. The subtotal was $249.99. How much would the tax be? And at this time, the tax rate in Virginia is 5%. It does vary. They change it, but we'll go with the 5%. And it's asking you two questions. So the first question is, how much will the tax be? And the second question is, how much would the total be? So we're going to start first with calculating the tax. And we're going to do that the same exact way we do the tip. So we're going to put our subtotal here on the bottom. So $249.99 goes on the bottom. I don't know what the tax is yet. So I'm going to put an X on top. But I do know the percent. It's 5%. So that's going to be 5 over 100. So for this one, I'm going to use my cross products. 5 times $249.99. 100 times X. What is 5 times $249.99? Did you get it? 1,000 what? And that's equal to 100x. So you're going to divide both sides by 100. And then you get $12.50. So $12.50 is my tax. That seems like a lot of money for tax, but it's because the price of the item is so much. So that iPod was almost $250. So the higher the price of the item, the more tax you're going to pay. So this is my tax, but now I have to get my total. So my total is taken from my subtotal, which was $259. Nope, not $259. $249.99. And I'm going to add to that my $12.50. And I get 9, 4, 13. So if I add those together, my total price when I walk out of the store is going to be $263.49. It's a lot of money. So far we've looked at tax, we've looked at discount, or not discount, we've looked at tax, we've looked at tip, and next we're going to look at how to calculate the discount. So the only difference with the discount is that we calculate it the same way, but the second step, when you have to figure out what the final price is, instead of adding, what are you going to do? Subtract it. You're going to take the price off. And then you still have to pay tax or tip. But we're just doing one-step problems. We're just going to go with tax or tip or discount for right now. So if you guys look at the other problem, we're going to flip over the sheet. And we're going to learn how to find the total of a purchase after a discount is subtracted. So your total is going to be found. Again, you're going to start with your subtotal. And you're going to subtract, this time, instead of tax and tip, we're going to subtract our discount. Now you don't subtract the percentage, you use the percentage to find the discount. So the first problem, you and your family went to Riverbound Cafe for dinner, and the total bill was $54.95. Since you have a Hawk card, I guess that's some kind of like special discount card, you can get 20% off or 20% discount. So we have two questions again. How much would we save? And then the second question is how much or what would be the final amount that you pay? So let's start with to get the discount. We're going to set it up just like we did the tax and the tip. I don't know what the discount is, but I do know that it's out of $54.95. And I also know, because that's my subtotal, or that's my total with, yeah, that's my subtotal. And then I have my 20%, so it's going to be 20 over 100. I'm going to do, you guys can use your cross products if you want to, but I'm going to show you a way you can do it differently. It kind of goes with the number line model. I can also look how many times 20 goes into 100. 20 goes into 100, how many times? How many 20s are in 100? 5. So I can actually, to get from 100 to 20, I divide by 5. So I could just do $54.95 divided by 5. It would be a quicker way to get the answer. So if I take $54.95 divided by 5, I get $10.99. Nope, you would make it $10.99. So X would be $10.99. They're not going to give you $11 off. They're not going to give you an extra penny, trust me. They want their money. So that's my discount. So the difference now is to find my total. I'm going to take my subtotal, which was $54.95, and I'm going to subtract my discount, which was $10.99. And if I subtract those, that's how much I'm going to pay for my dinner bill, because I have a discount card. So be really careful with these problems and look closely. If it's asking for discount, you're going to subtract. If it's giving you a tax or tip problem, you're going to add on. So what's the answer? How much? $43.50. $1.96. Okay, we've looked at several examples of tax, tip, and discount, or an example of each. There are some more problems here. You have another discount problem to try, and then you have these try it problems here. So I would like you to finish those problems, and then we will go over them when you're done. And that's it for our lesson on tax, tip, and discount.